everybody. Welcome to Zenny62 on Monday night late. It's been a very busy day to say the least. A successful day, a great day, I might add, in uh, the area of blog traffic performance for Zenny62 platforms, Oakland News Online, and YouTube, and every place else. Mainly because of posts related to San Diego Comic Con, which is next week, mid week next week. And um, I am credentialed to go. I've even got my badge, as I mentioned before. But my mom's health has been up and down, and so I'm really, hesitant to just get up and go, even for a day. Last year, I went for Saturday to cover the Star Trek Discovery panel. Um, but this year, I'm going to look. I'm credentialed, so it means I get all the press releases and all the announcements and everything else, right? Um, and so basically, I can still make Comic Con news without actually being there, right? I'm already doing that. Take a look. If you want proof, go to Twitter and search the History Channel Vikings and see what the #1 tweet is. Involves my blog, a new blog, Oakland News Now, and the History Channel, and the History Channel blessed my coverage by making my blog the centerpiece of their tweet. Thank you very much. They have 1.38 million followers. So anyway, hey everybody, hey Rob Iman, um, and Cowboy Wrestler, how you doing? Now let's get to the topic of the day, the thing that I really found really fascinating, and what it was is this measure of quarterback greatness, and it's by Football Outsiders, and Scott Kasmar posted this. He's also a film buff and a screenwriter, he says, and it's but basically what DVOA. It's according to DVOA, and you're probably thinking, what the heck is DVOA, right? And that's what I thought. What the heck is DVOA? Well, DVOA is this fascinating measure of football player performance. It's called defense adjusted value over average. That's right, defense adjusted value over average, and it calculates a football team's success based on the down and distance of each play during the season, then calculates how much more or less successful each team is compared to that league average. Okay, and they do this with players and teams and so on. All right, and so it's Cabaret says DA thinks the NFL and the Raiders are hiding the facts that this might be the Raiders' last year in Oakland. I don't know who DA is. That's the thing, Cowboy Wrestler. Um, and so, at any rate, I don't know who that is. So, at any rate, uh, I am focused on what DVOA is. All right, and DVOA. DVOA. I don't know who DVOA is. DVOA is weighted ratings after the divisional round show that the #1 New England Patriots, and they've been trading up and down. Okay, and something else too. The #1 quarterback in this is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson. Okay, so Russell Wilson is #1. I'll read you the rankings. Cowboy Wrestler, I'm not paying attention to that because, I okay, um, and that's a I'm just not going to. I want to talk about football. I want to talk about football. So this may be one of those shows where people, if you don't like football, you know, You might kind of like, but if you like football, all right. DVOA. Number one in DVOA is Russell Wilson at 68.7%. Kirk Cousins is number two at 55.1%. Jameis Winston, believe it or not, is number three. 53.1%, I believe that. Colin Kaepernick, this is through the career. Colin Kaepernick is 51.1. Get it? Colin Kaepernick is 51.1. I'll repeat, Colin Kaepernick is 51.1, right? And so, Rob Iman, that's right. This is the ZBS. This is the Zinni Broadcasting System. It's not the CBS Sports Network. So, yeah, Joseph Benjamin says, this is the list of the best quarterbacks. Yeah, and I'm glad you had that reaction, Joseph Benjamin, because, and that's why I put it up there. Hey, John, how you doing? John Akala. And I put it up there because it's a different way of looking at player performance. And I think it's undeniably provocative because it basically forces you to rethink how you measure a quarterback's performance, and also it just rings out the whole prejudice that people might have against a person for an off the field issue or whatever, and it just rings everything out. I mean, all right, and so for example, on this list that I'm telling you about, there's no Tom Brady. Okay, you've got Russell Wilson, Dirk Cousins. Did I say Dirk Cousins? Long day. Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston, Colin Kaepernick, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Derek Carr, Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill, Andrew Luck, and Andy Dalton. That's your list. All right, that's your list. And so, so there's this thread that goes with it, and this is what I'm looking at, folks. I'll show you. There, see, that's it. All right. And not only that, Russell Wilson is far and away. Yeah, no Jimmy G. That's right, Bob. And no Jimmy G. Russell Wilson is far and away, the better quarterback. This is through their career. This is career DVOA, all right? Russell Wilson blows everybody away. The next highest is Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins, as you can see, is a good 13 points approximately below, right? Okay. And DVOA is defense adjusted. I'll show you. It's defense adjusted value over average. Defense adjusted value over average. It calculates a team's success based on the down and distance of each play during the season, then calculates how much more or less successful each team is compared to the league average, talking about the NFL. That's defense adjusted value over average. That's what that means. And so it's created by Football Outsiders, and they started this website in 2003. And I like it because, and they partner with Fox Sports, I think, in 2006, 2005, 2006. I always like to cover the little media, what people are doing. This is interesting stuff. But I'm not going to get too far into them, but I am going to talk a little bit about this measure, because I think it's really fascinating. Infalls. Hey, Infalls, haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing? Infalls says, did you know the Major League Baseball has a minimum capacity for the all? Yep, I know that one. Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that right now, Infalls. I want to talk about defense adjusted value over average National Football League. I want to talk about football. So forget the baseball thing. I'll deal with that later. I want to talk about this and what it means that Russell Wilson is a full 13 points better than Kirk Cousins, and what it means that Kirk Cousins is there, okay? Jay Boogie 510 says, any QB that can function behind Tom Cable offensive line gets respect from me. He has a good run game coordinator, but doesn't know anything about pass protection. You know what I think it is, J Boogie 510, is I think it's a measure of how effective Russell Wilson is as a runner. Because DVOA, the way they think about it is this, all right? Here's a question. What's more valuable to you? A running back that picks up 3 yards on first down, or a running back that picks up 3 yards on 3rd and 2? I'll wait for your answer. While I'm waiting for your answer, let me explain this. The way these guys think about it, okay, is the running back that picks up 3 yards on 3rd and 2 is more valuable than the running back that picks up 3 yards on 1st and 10. Because the 1st and 10, it's like, okay, you picked up 3 yards, but could have been 5 or 6, right? You know, if it was 8 yards on first down, that's a different story. But if you have a running back like a Marshawn Lynch that consistently picks up chunks for you when it matters the most, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, the idea here is that person's more valuable. As Jay Boogie just said, I agree. 3rd down is the money down. And Joseph Benson says it's pretty near impossible to take a list of best quarterbacks seriously without Brady, Breeze, and Rodgers. Okay. Jay Boogie says, I agree. 3rd down is the money down. Citric Count says Tom Cable back in Oakland. Right. I think, again, you know, I don't place the issue on Tom Cable. The assumption is that every scheme works perfectly. In other words, hey, did the Seahawks have a great game plan? Did they did they cause Russell Wilson to hold on the ball too long? What did they do from a perspective of time and motion study that produced the outcome we saw? All right? My point is this. You can't always place the blame on the offensive line coach, because the offensive line coach isn't responsible for designing the play. This big thing to consider, all right? Hey, Barry Lee, how you doing? Joseph Business says it's all interconnected, though. Running games are vital. Just for getting a few yards or several yards to relieve pressure from the team's quarterback. 3rd and short is always better than 3rd and long. Right. Jay Boogie says Derek Carr is going to be running for his life like Bruce Garkowski. If the only time that will happen, is if, and I don't expect him to do this, is if John Gruden and company, hey everybody, welcome to Zenny62, is if John Gruden and company install an offense that causes him to hold on the ball longer than a second, 1.2 seconds. If it's designed for Carr to get rid of the ball within 1.2 seconds, he's not going to get touched, okay? And hopefully they're thinking with that kind of engineering in mind. If they're not, then I think your point's well taken, but then that would be great anyway. Barry Lee says he's great, just kicking his tail. I get you. Hey, Barry Lee, what if I told you that Russell Wilson was the best quarterback in the league? What would you say? And that Derek Carr was 7th, and that Tom Brady wasn't on the list at all right? And, okay. So, all right. Cowboy Rush says, okay, my wife just informed me that we have Excedrin in the cabinet, so I'm going to try to stay on for a while. Ding! Awesome. Now, that's it. That's it, folks. So, okay, getting back to the point here. I love this stuff. Now, I drilled down a bit further regarding this whole measurement, right? And I went to... I had the website open, but I'm going to go back and, oops, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going actually to the window where they're actually, here we go, Football Outsiders, there, all right. DVOA rankings and analysis. They're weighted, okay, and they've got this whole page devoted to this stuff. Conference championship quick leads. They've measured this for every week. Week 1, they've done this for a long time, right? They have innovative statistics, team efficiency, everything else, all right? This is cool. premium DVOA database. Hopefully it's free. Oh, it's not. Access denied. You may need to log in or register to access the page. Wah, I don't wanna. All right. Let me try another way here to get what I'm looking for. DVOA. Let's see here. Team defense. Methods to our madness. Let me read this one. All right. This is the. Before I read to you, this is the method to the madness. All right. It's as I explained. Okay. It basically says one running back runs for 3 yards, another running back runs for 3 yards. Who's the better run, right? And then it says several factors can differentiate one 3-yard run from another. What's the down and distance? Is it 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 15? Where is the field? What's the field position, right? That's very important. Conventional NFL statistics just look at yardage. They go beyond that, all right? So their system, they said that their system is a bit more complex than the one that's in the hidden game. I think this is interesting. The problem, however, is that it's complicated. All right, the best formulas are the ones that are simple, and they've taken it and they've analyzed all these plays, and that's great, but they get into this. My point is this: when you get systemically, when you get complicated with anything, and it's an evaluation system, it's always subject to criticism because there are so many points of analysis that someone will disagree with it philosophically. That's just a given. That said, I think they're on to something in needing a way to better evaluate how players and perform and who's the best. Now, you know what I think the best way is? Delphi. Survey a bunch of people who actually watch the game and have seen games and ask them. And then using the internet, see if you can capture the points of view of 1 million people at once. Yeah, I really believe that's the best way to do it, because ultimately you're going to get the same. You're going to get the same result if they're honest, true football fans as you would from this. Okay, I think maybe even better, because this I don't know. I like the system that's just very simple and just gives you the one number. Like that's why the QBR system is so powerful, because at the end of the day, it gives you one number, and when you hear that number, you know, okay, this quarterback's got a 94 point something rating, or this quarterback's 121.2 or whatever for a game. So if I say a quarterback got a 121.2, you knew that quarterback did really, really well. 94, it's kind of like 60, it's like lousy. You see what I'm getting at? Or it's like completion percentage, same thing. Simple, keep it simple. Always keep it simple, all right? So, I mean, always. So, Barry Lee says, I would say, whatever that person is on that made that list, give me some of that good stuff. I see where you're going with that one. Jay Boogie says QBR is mostly TD interception ratio. It is. That's true. It doesn't incorporate runs. What I like about the other way, and the reason why Russell Wilson is ranked so high, is because of his knack for picking up the big yards on a run, right? For extending a play, keeping a drive alive, that sort of thing. Cowboy Wrestler says, since I'm going to become a bandwagon Cowboys fan. Wait, why are you a bandwagon Cowboys fan? Because you're a Cowboy Wrestler? He says, when the Raiders leave for Vegas, what ranking is Dak Prescott? Who knows when the Raiders are leaving for Vegas, the way things are going. Okay. I have no idea. So I don't know. Dak Prescott's not on this list right now. So there you go. All right. So, all right. There are enough people here watching for me to ask a question of you I have never asked before. And that question is this. In your opinion, who's the best quarterback right now? Going into the season, who is the best quarterback and why? Now, for me, going into this season, I will tell you, I think the best quarterback is Cam Newton. And the reason why I say that is the pairing of Cam Newton and Norv Turner, his offensive coordinator. Woo! That is exciting. Norv Turner is outstanding, okay? Outstanding. Alex Flores thinks Derek Carr is the better one. Big Eightful says, hey, Big Eightful. Big Eightful says it's Aaron Rodgers. He can do anything on the field at any time. It's great. It's a great observation. Rob Iman says, fact or fiction, Jared Goff falls back to earth this season. Fact. Because the league will have caught up with what the Rams do on offense. Fact, okay? Saw Insight says Rodgers or Brady, and it's not even close. Cowboy Wrestler says Drew Brees. It's a great answer, Cowboy Wrestler. Jay Boogie says Tom Brady, he's like a pianist with 1,000 hours of playing under his belt, mastery of the quarterback position. Barry Lee believes he has to say Tom Brady. Interesting. So I would say, and I just said it. I said it already. I said Cam Newton. But that's an anticipate. That is my take is anticipatory. It is based on what I think Norv Turner is going to do for him. Pedro says, hey, Pedro, he says, do you think Brady will play well below expectation this year? Well, that's a weird question, Pedro, because it's almost as if you're saying to me that you don't think Tom Brady is going to do well. So it's like, wait a minute. You don't think Tom Brady is going to do well, so you're asking me to adopt that point of view, right? Right? I will say this. The measure of Tom Brady, do I think Tom Brady will have a better season this year than last year? And my answer to that is I think he'll do just as well. The question is, will the Patriots defense perform better? I'll never bet against the Pats offense as long as Josh McDaniel is the offensive coordinator and Tom Brady is the quarterback until Tom Brady hits the age of 46, if he's around that long. Aaron Rodgers chooses John Marks because he has this discount double check. Joseph Ben says, even though I despise him, Brady is the best in the game now. Rodgers and Brees are close seconds, but Brady has an overwhelming will and just makes whatever play is needed. Almost. He didn't make that last play in the Super Bowl, man. So no one puts Nick Foles on this list at all? Are you saying that Nick Foles was a fluke? What about Carson Wentz? Rob Iman says, I think the Steelers could take the biggest step in that direction. Cowboy Rush says, I would have said Aaron Rodgers, but I'm afraid he's starting to get the case of Romo. I think you might have a point there. Unknown Raider guy, how are you? Unknown Raider guy writes, when Brady retires, Patriots are done. Jay Boogie says, Nick Foles, number 33. Joseph Business says that that's on his offensive lines, and he twitched the Eagles for 600 yards. Laugh out loud. Brady did all he could do. That's true. It's on the Pats defense lost it for him. While Byman says Wins deserves to be on that list. I agree with you, and that's why I say, we talk about these things. Also, those numbers that I read off to your career. So Carson Wentz is just starting his career, but it's interesting. I wonder if those career numbers get better along with the quarterback. In other words, if you take the last years of that quarterback versus the first set of years, the last half versus the first half, I wonder if by statistical model, the last half always performs better than the first half. You know what I mean? You know the game better, so you make the moves, that sort of thing. If that's the case, then maybe, just maybe, it's not the best measure of performance. And Barry Lee says, now if you ask me who's on the all-time QB list, that's a hard one for me. It's a tie between Joe Montana and Troy Aikman. John Mark says, all-time QB, Joe Montana and Troy Aikman. Pedro Gallardo says, hey, what about Ken Stabler? Okay, Mr. Interception. Ken Stabler was Mr. Interception, so all right. Nick Foibles, a victim of Chip Kelly. Pedro says that he should stay in Philly one more year. Jay Boogie says if Kaepernick and Harbaugh stayed together, he would be top 5. Yeah. Rob Iman says, I think Steve Young would be a top 5 all time. Yeah, I think so. Especially, he definitely would be. Definitely. Joseph Benson says, if Luck gets back into full health and the Colts take care of him from here on out, he could have 10 great years. I see Andrew Luck for another 6. I don't see him for 10. But it's not... there's something about Andrew Luck where I see him getting out of football earlier than number people imagine. It's just a feeling. It's just my gut. My gut saying to me, I think he wants to be someplace else. You know? Nothing wrong with that. Just, hey, the way it is. Cowboy Wrestlers Bradshaw? Good question. What about Bradshaw? John Mark says, Ken Stabler should have been in the list, but he's Mr. Interception. Sorry. I agree with you. I was at a Raider game week 4. He threw 4 interceptions against the Broncos. 4. That game was just, ugh. We got intercepted, sacked. I mean, I was lucky to go, right? But, that hurt. Rob Iman says, this will be Carroll's last season in Seattle. Ooh. Jay Boogie says his father, Andrew Luck's father, Oliver Luck, may bring Andrew to the XFL. Big April says Kurt Warner, to me, is a top 5 QB, career-wise. Pedro Gallardo says Andrew Luck should go to another team. Cowboy Wrestler says nothing. John Mark says, was that game in Oakland, Zenny? Oh, yes, it was in Oakland. Saw Inside says, Favre is Mr. Interception, especially in the clutch. You know who's Mr. Interception in the clutch is Kirk Cousins. Joseph Bensman says, Phil Simms is not in the best QB discussion, but may have had the best Super Bowl. That game against the Broncos torched him like 22-25. Rob Evans says, I think Donovan McNabb is one of the most underrated quarterbacks, and I would agree with you there. I do quite agree. I think Jameis Winston is going to have a fantastic year once he gets out of suspension. I'm placing a lot of faith in the Bucs offensive coordinator, Todd Monson, and Dirk Carter. We'll see how that comes out. Plus, they've got a great defense on paper. I talked about that last night. John Mark says, today's Mr. Reception is Kurt, you like that, Cousins. Adrian Gobuck says, bring Teddy Bridgewater to Tampa. Hey, I'm glad you mentioned that. Ms. Zeitgeist says, hi, Ms. Zeitgeist says, Brett Favre should have retired sooner. Joseph Business says, absolutely underrated and underappreciated. Talking about Donovan McNabb. Pedro Gallardo says, how do you feel about Patrick Mahomes? I'm excited to see him. Don't quite know what to expect. Maybe the Mad Bomber. And so Sean Grogan says, I'm late to the party, but where was Marino? Nowhere, because I didn't read if they have a list for this for a career, for all time, I haven't seen it yet. Jay Boogley says, Joseph, we might as well put Jeff Hostetler in the top QB discussion. Rob Iman says, this is Mahomes' learning curve season. Rob Iman says, I've always liked Jeff Hostetler. But you know what, though, Rob? I think that if Andy Reid is so willing to structure his offense around Mahomes, it means that schematically, Andy Reid has something up his sleeve that will be revolutionary. I don't know what that something is, but I really believe that. and it may be elements of the air raid offense, which he hasn't installed before. Air raid, no huddle style, okay, because that's what Mahomes ran at Texas Tech. So look out for the Chiefs to really, I'm going to say this, I'm going to call this, all right? Without knowing a single play they're going to run this year in terms of seeing something, I'm going to supine that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to bomb the hell out of the AFC West. Yeah. Because they have the speed and now they have the QB with the arm to get the ball there, who can also run, who's played in an air raid, no huddle offense. Watch out for the Chiefs. Do not sleep on Kansas City. Okay? Don't sleep. I'm looking at this as Vince Evans. Rob Iman says, I think Reed will be fired. Rob Iman thinks that Andy Reid's going to be fired before Pat Mahomes is a finished product. Really? Where'd you get that from, Rob? I'm just curious. Joseph Benjamin says, Favre was an amazing quarterback to watch, but he was more mistake-prone than guys like Brady, Rodgers, and Breeze. John Mark says, Vince Evans was I know who Vince was. I was a Vince Evans fan, man. Benjamin says, well, they were in that game, and it was my Giants' glorious first Super Bowl. Rob Iman says, Reed is on the hot seat this season. Why? Why is Andy Reid on the hot seat this season? Jordan Yancey says, Kansas City doesn't have an offensive line. Why? Every team needs an offensive line. I am not buying this because they made major personnel changes, because they got rid of Alex Smith. You realize that no one knows what the Chiefs are going to do with the ball because of this new personnel mix, which makes them what? It makes them unpredictable. All right. And Binsman says, John Mark says, Andy Reid might be coach of the year, AFC. Joseph Binsman says, that's ridiculous. If Reid is on the hot seat, maybe more pressure on him after going all, on Mahomes, but not on the hot seat yet. No, see, I agree with you, Joseph. Hot seat, Andy Reid? I'm not seeing that. If there's anybody that's on the hot seat, you want to know who's on the hot seat? Guess. You know what? No, I'm going to tell you. You don't have to guess. Because you're going to have your own answers. John Gruden is on the hot seat. Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because he's got to justify that damn $100 million contract. Okay? He's really on the hot seat. He's got to prove he can deliver. So what do you say if the Raiders go 0-3? Right? What do you say? Okay? What do you say? Rob Iman swears Chiefs fans are getting tired of Reid. I haven't seen that. Cowboy Wrestler says Jason Garrett. John Mark says, now I agree with you. Cowboy Wrestler says Jason Garrett's on the hot seat. Mark says Pete Carroll. Adrian Goldbuck says Dirk Carter. And I think Dirk Carter is #1 on the hot seat. I think Dirk Carter's seat is hotter than anybody else's, period. Joseph Business says Belichick should be on the hot seat more so than Reid because he still hasn't answered why he benched Malcolm Butler right before the Super Bowl. I don't think that's really causing him to lose any sleep. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Zinnia62 on a Monday night. John Acala says Hugh Jackson. And, Hugh Jackson as well as, because Hugh's got to prove that he can win a game or 2 or 5 or 10 in a season, right? If Hugh Jackson wins 10 games this season, that will be nice. He's in a hard position, okay? If he wins 10 games, they'll say, yeah, well, you had the right talent and John Dorsey helped you. If he loses, they're going to say, you're a crappy coach because you couldn't do it with the talent. So he's damned if he does with the talent, and then he's damned if he doesn't with the talent. So Hugh Jackson is in a no-win position in Cleveland because of his past performance. Boy, that's a sucky place to be. You might as well win. Jay Bookie's, Cowboy says, Belichick on the hot seat, please. Benzma says, I agree, Rob. Jerry Jones likes having him as a stooge. Ha! And Jay Boogie says, Gruden on the hot seat with a 10-year, $100 million fully guaranteed contract? He is ice water on his seat. No, he's at the hot seat. You know why? Because if he does not perform, people will look at this with all the other Raiders expenditures, with the Las Vegas and everything, as an abject sign of corporate failure in the National Football League. They'll look at Mark Davis as a guy who didn't know what he was doing, that was just throwing money around, and didn't do his proper due diligence to get the right coach. They'll look at Mark Davis as a guy who insulted T. Martin, who is as fine an offensive coordinator in football as you're ever going to see. And yet, Mark Davis made a comment that was really, from one particular angle, in its sound, racist. In other words, hey, you don't want T. Martin. Why? Because he's a black guy? Why make a comment like that about T. Martin? Like, I have to spend money on $20 million on T. Martin? Well, yeah, you do. Why not? Okay? That's out there, folks. I might even blog that just to get under the Raiders' skin a little bit and say, hey, you know what? Juju. Okay? Because it was wrong to say. It just was wrong to say, all right? And so, we have these predictions. Steelers 12-4. Benzma says that McCarthy's on the hot seat, and I agree with him. Ms. Like says Pablo Sandoval just won it for the SF Giants. Wow. John Mark says the A's are red heart. They are winning. Sean Grogan, how you doing, Sean? Says Gruden's contract is guaranteed. He has 6 seasons without having to worry. No. Again, when I say on the hot seat in the Gruden case, I'm not talking about getting fired or not paid. I'm simply talking about how it would look if he went out of the gate and sucked. Because I don't care what you say. You and I both know that if John Gruden, let's say John Gruden goes 0-16. Let's just say that. Let's say that John Gruden goes 0-16. And don't tell me that's not going to happen, because last year we were supposed to believe that the Raiders are going to be 10-6, and they were 6-10. So let's say that Gruden goes 0-16. What do you think people would say then? I'm waiting, okay? And while I'm waiting, I'll read these comments. Cowboy says, I guarantee you that Rodgers doesn't finish his career in Green Bay. Benzma says, a good amount of Jets fans seem to want their coach on the hot seat from what I can tell. Saw Insight says, Steelers need to perform in playoffs next year. Okay. What about John Gruden going 0-16? And Hennessy says, did you really think the Browns are going 0-16? Nope. Big Info says, if the Raiders go 6-10 again, this season Mark Davis will be laughed out of football. Right. But he would be laughed out of football, but why not laugh John Gruden with him? After all, he's the coach. You see what I'm getting at? So you want to tell me that Gruden's not on the hot seat and you're paying him $100 million? You're going to tell me that because he has that money, he doesn't have to prove himself? Oh, contraire, Pierre. Come on. Not at all. Sean Grogan says, typical Raiders underachieving. Pedro Gallardo says, Gradina got, I missed that one. Okay? Whatever. Jay Boogie says, Browns had a rookie QB trying to run Air Coryell. Perfect 0-16 team. Oh, I mean with Kaiser? Oh. That was a bad offensive design. I don't know what he was thinking. I just don't. It was ridiculous. Make it easy on him. Give him some short passes to throw, some misdirection. Make the defense, get mad, and confused, and think. Rob Ivan says, I see Mike Tomlin wanting a change of scenery if the FO keeps botching up the QB draft in Pittsburgh. And who's FO? Rob Ivan. Cameron Resto says, if the Raiders go 0-16, John Gruden will be fired. And he'll be begging for his job back at ESPN. Pedro Gallardo says, Gruden got to win at least 2 to 3 games. Yep. Pedro Gallardo says, autocorrect is acting up tonight, okay? Adrian Gobuck says, that would be something if John Gruden goes 0-16. Hopefully he doesn't have a starting quarterback every 2 years like he did down here in Tampa and got him fired. And he says, Hennessy and Rob Iman say front office. Okay, so there's my question regarding, but see, I'm glad you answered that. So now you understand what I mean when I say that John Gruden is also on the hot seat. Because for him to perform that badly and yet make that much money is just a bad sign all the way around. So the pressure's on Gruden to prove that he is worth $100 million. That's a raw deal. He may not like that, but it's a fact. That's how he's going to be looked at. Hey, man, are you worth $100 million? What's $100 million look like? You? Just kidding. I like John. All right. Jay Boogie says Gruden will go 8-8 at least. Pedro says the offense is too talented to lose. We heard that last year. Excuse me. Oh, boy. Jordan Yancey says, it's crazy how some of these Raider so-called fans switch and want them to see them do bad. Wow. I don't. If I did, I wouldn't give them plays. Cowboy Russell says, at best, Raiders go 6-10 this year. I have the Raiders at 10-6. Upon reflection. Cowboy Russell says, Hennessy, no. Upon reflection, 10-6. I was contemplating whether I was going to get coffee. Decided I would keep drinking water. Big April says Gruden has to be 9-7 or 10-6 and make a playoff run for people to say this was a good hire. I agree. That's the mark. And it can't even be 9-7. I think with all the hype, 9-7 would be considered almost failure. 10-6 would be good. 11-5, people would say, hey, this is fantastic, okay? 12-4, oh yeah. 13-3, oh my God. 14-2, 15-1, yeah. 16-0, yeah. You get the idea, okay? But that's what would happen, right? If the Raiders, see, that's the whole point. John Gruden has no choice but to do well. He can't even do a mediocre job at $100 million. Because if he goes, 12-4, 13-3, people will say, well, hey, he's worth $100 million. Yeah, that was great. Yeah. But 8-8, El Payuso, as Jar Jar Binks would say. El Payuso. You, right? Ms. Zeitgeist, Hennessy says, so is Jimmy G worth his contract? No. No. Cowboy says, get some Joe. No. Cowboy Wrestler says to Jordan Yancey, they stabbed his fans in the heart. What do you expect? Big April says, if they go 15-1, they will win the Super Bowl. I'm calling that one. I agree with you. If the Raiders go 15-1, it will be because of their defense. And defense wins championships. And that will be the deciding factor. It would have to be. I'm not saying the offense won't improve, but improve to what level? The way they were with, Bill Musgraves last year? before he jumped ship or was made to jump ship. That was a bad idea. Okay? Sean Side says only Belichick is worth $100 million. See, that's something. See, John Gruden has to prove that he is a Bill Belichick level player, coach. Okay? That's what he has to prove. John Gruden has to be a different guy to achieve that level than he was 20 years ago. Jay Boogie says Jimmy G is worth his contract. I'm not convinced. I'm not, look, everything about Jimmy G was a bet. I mean, you don't know, you're not sure, but you want to invest. And so in this inaugural season with the Niners, everybody is Jimmy G, Jimmy G, Jimmy G, forgetting Zinni's axiom of strategic football. And Zinni's axiom of strategic football is this: a team that performed extremely well offensively over its first half of the season, okay, becomes the target. A little chest pain here. Sorry, folks. Wow. Just being honest, that's a chest pain. Whew. Here's some aspirin here. Take a big swig of water. Ah, boy. That's not nice. Hold on a second. Okay. Adrian Gobuck asks, do you see Gruden in 2022 in the new stadium he's done with? Yes. Ms. Zeitgeist says, didn't Amy Trask want Belichick to be a Raider 21 years ago? I don't know. I'll check that. Binsman says, excuse me, that is not good. Why am I having chest pains? I might have to cut this one short, folks. That's not, I apologize. That's, not good. Big April says John Gruden will have to, yeah, I should get, John Mark says go get checked. Tonight? Somebody asked me a question. Oh, who was my greatest running back and wide receiver ever? Oh, easy. Okay. Greatest running back ever, in my view, ever? The Juice. O.J. Simpson. O.J.'s greatest ever. Sorry. Wide receiver, Jerry Rice. But O.J. was the best combination of speed, size, and power I have ever seen. Definitely O.J. Okay? And he was insanely good. O.J. Simpson. Saucelight says Sanders. I can understand that. I can understand that. Our Bible says, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah, you're right about that, Rob. Do I look like I'm about to wreck myself? Oh, man. Ooh. Oh, you had the same thing the other night? Jordan? Wow. John Mark says, O.J. Simpson got his head handed to him during the Raiders and Bills versus Bills in the AFL. Yeah, he did. John Acala says Jim Brown. Now, see, I haven't seen Jim Brown personally play, but I've seen O.J. play. All right? So I'm only going by what that. Of course, we got YouTube. You can watch them all, right? Nothing but love for Jim Brown. All right. So my question to you all is, who is your greatest running back ever? And who's your greatest wide receiver ever? I said Jerry Rice. Ms. Zeitgeist says, I know someone that has an OJ football card from 78. Hey, we live next door to OJ Simpson's brother, Melvin. Jordan Yancey says, it's from the water going down the wrong way. Oh. No, not in my case. The water went down the right way. I think it's gas. You know, more than anything, gas. I think it's a gas buildup. John Mark says, I believe Marcus Allen is the greatest running back ever, and Jerry Rice is my wide receiver. Saw Insight says Randy Moss and Barry Sanders. Another great choice. How can we forget the exploits of the great Randy Moss? Did anyone ever see that 1998 Thanksgiving game pitting the Dallas Cowboys against the visiting Minnesota Vikings? Randy Moss's first year in the league. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, 178 yards. Enough said. Enough said. Another pick for, Jordan Yancey's, wait a minute. John Acala says Jerry Rice, Barry Sanders. Ms. Zeitgeist says Marcus Allen had a lot of potential, but why did his relationship with the Raiders sour? Okay. This is what I am told. The reason why I am told that the Raiders relationship or Al Davis relationship soured had to do with Davis. I think Marcus Allen had some type of relationship with somebody that was related to Al Davis or something like that, girl, and he, was supposed to stay away from this person or whatever. That's the, let me look this up because I've heard that. I heard that little story and I thought I didn't believe it because I thought, wait a minute, that would mean that Mark Davis had a sister, and I okay, and I would think, all right, or yeah, Al Davis' daughter. See, so he has. Yeah, he only had. All right. Oh. Here's a question. It says, was the Al Davis Marcus Allen feud over Marcus' affair with Nicole Brown Simpson? Ooh. And it says that Al Davis had, let's see here. Basically, I'm reading through a long deal, and it said that, and I do remember that Al Davis had said something about he felt the whole truth will come out about Marcus Allen during the OJ trial, but it didn't. Okay. Oh man. So it apparently had to do with Nicole Brown Simpson, reportedly. All right. And Rob Ivan says, was Nicole Brown Simpson a Blanche Devereaux? Blanche Devereaux. Let me copy and paste that one. Who's Branch Devereaux? Branch Devereaux. Branch Devereaux is one of the 4 main fictional characters on the Golden Girls. So I would have to say no. I mean, no. Because she's not a Golden Girl. She was young, right? So, no. There you go there. All right. All right. John Mark says Bo Jackson, the best. Rob Ivan says character from, I got that one right. Big April says Jim Brown, Jerry Rice, second Barry Sanders, Michael Irvin, gotta put my man Bo Jackson, Chris Carter. Chris Carter was great, but man, I met Chris Carter my first Super Bowl in Atlanta, and oh, yeah, I was just going to get my tickets, and I just said, "Hey, congratulations on." I was trying to be nice, and I had never met the man, but I was just exchanging pleasantries, and he snapped my head off. I remember, I just thought, I didn't say anything. I said, well, it wasn't necessary. It was so left field. Braylon Edwards did that to me when he was wide receiver for the Browns. When the Browns just drafted Brady Quinn, quarterback, Notre Dame, right? And I asked Braylon for his opinion. He snapped at me. Well, that's a stupid question, he said to me. What am I supposed to say? What do you want me to say? Right? You know what I mean? I'm thinking, seriously? Okay. Joseph says a guy who wasn't great but had a very impactful career was Wayne Corbett. Gotta love players like that guy. Yeah. Marvin Harrison had a heck of career. John Mark says, you can call it a business move, Jordan Yancey. We call it a wife ripping the heart out of her husband as she marries his brother or best friend. Okay. Do you guys talk about Marcus Allen? John O'Connell says, did Bo Jackson really want a 4.1-yard dash? I believe that he did. Adrian Gobuck says he was just trying to make because he was in losing Brown's team. Oh, Joseph Business says Tim Brown, speaking of Raiders. Yeah, Tim Brown. Awesome. Awesome talent. Legendary. Jerry Rice? Come on. Jerry Rice is the GOAT. Greatest of all time. Big April says XFL. XFL what? What? John Mark says Tim Brown, downtown Timmy Brown. Jerry Rice, of course. Any root was his to own. Good point. So you won't give any credit to Fred Biletnikoff or Cliff Branch? Branch and Biletnikoff. How about Swan and Stallworth? Lynn Swan, who I hung out with my first Super Bowl, gave me his hat from ABC. Hey, Rob, I'll see you. All right. Joseph Benson says, is Reggie Wayne a half Hall of Famer to you? Yes. What about Freddie Solomon? Niners? Ooh. Dwight Clark? The late, great Dwight Clark? John Mark says, Freddie B was great. Cliff Branch, too. Yeah. What about, let's see here. Kellen Winslow, Chargers. How about him? Right? John Taylor was a great wide receiver. Africato says you can't ignore Stickham. That's true. You can't. But how about Darryl Stingley before Jack Tatum hit him? John Mark says Lester Hayes used Stickham to get 13 receptions in 1980. He sure did. Binsman says if Reggie Wayne makes it, my boy Amani Toomer better make it. Love that guy. Amani Toomer was a hoss. Amani Toomer, every time I think of Amani Toomer, I think of Stratomatic football. Because my friend John Russo is a big Giants fan like yourself. Always picked the G-men. with Amari Toomer. Amari would just torch whatever team I had. Amari Toomer would torch it. Oh, I mean, it was just pass, and even with a double team, 12 yards, first down. Oh man, Amari, boom, 17 yards, first down. Oh, Amari, come on, golly, man. Cowboy Wrestlers, do you think Raphael Wright is a Hall of Famer? Number 70 with the Dallas Cowboys? Yes, I do. John Mark says, Lester Hayes was Lester of the Interceptor in 1880. Easily, he was the judge. He was. Easily. All right, folks, I'm going to stop at 5 minutes to 2. It's 1:48. Mainly because I'm a little slow tonight, as you could tell. I'm like, a little bit. I'll be in tip-top shape tomorrow. Binsman says Amani Toomer was one of the first guys to really big, dragging his feet to make a catch to the sideline a thing. Let me rephrase that. Joseph Binsman is saying that Amari Toomer was one of the first to make a big deal out of dragging his feet along the sideline to make a catch out of bounds as he was headed out of bounds. Got it. Big April says, do you think the XFL will be better the second time around this time? It depends. If the XFL, look, the only way I made a game of the XFL called the XFL SimWorld, so I consider myself an expert on that subject. The only way the XFL will improve is if this version of the XFL gets players that you and I have heard of. If they go after low-hanging fruit with names, okay, kind of like what the Big Three basketball organization is doing, if they do it like that, I think they're on to something. But no one's going to spend money for a team that consists of players they've never heard of. That doesn't make any sense. Even if it's a developmental league, why not pull college players that create a name for themselves? And then regionally, let's say if you're talking Bay Area, you hire the guys from Cal and Stanford and San Jose State, right? That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Bisman mentions Plaxico Burress. Awesome talent. And I was at the Super Bowl where he made the catch. I have that whole final drive here on Zenny 62. I will get myself checked, John. Thank you for that. Cowboy Wrestler says XFL will fall once again. You can believe that. Africado says Andre Rison should be in the Hall of Fame. Joseph Bismarck says Herman Moore was another great receiver. And there's Andre Bad Moon Rison. Yep. Hey, by the way, how about, again, I say Dwight Clark. Okay. Dwight Clark, Freddie Solomon, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Russ Francis, great tight end of the Patriots and the Niners. Can't lose sleep on him, right? Joe Jaravicius wound up having a decent career with the Bucks. Harold Carmichael of your Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. Michael Irvin. How can we sleep on Michael Irvin? And yeah, and hey, talking about Cowboys, Drew Pearson, Tony Hill, Golden Richards, number 83, Billy Joe Dupree. Whatever happened to B.J. Dupree? John Lynch was one of the, yeah. Joseph Ben says, is Irvin in your top 10 receivers ever? Yeah, I would never sleep. I would never leave Michael Irvin out of my top 10. Ever. Even if I started assembling a list, I will hold a place for him. I don't know where that would be, but I will hold it for him. If I assembled the list and for some particular reason he wasn't in it, I take whoever was in it that shouldn't be there, put that person out, put him in. Michael Irvin is definitely there. You know why? Because he do you realize that Michael Irvin took the 88 and made it better? The Cowboys' famous number that Drew Pearson popularized. And in that context, Des Bryant, oh, what a sad tale. It wasn't just that Des Bryant was cut by the Cowboys, but that Des Bryant's number was 88 and got cut by the Cowboys. That's the crime. I didn't think 88 got cut. You know? I didn't think 88 got cut. Cabarrus says Terry Glenn. Donald Driver did have a nice career. Dokie Williams of the Raiders, so-so. That's a reach. If you're going to talk about Dokie Williams, I mean, I think that if you're going to talk about, you know, yeah. I would talk more about Jerry Porter with the Raiders than Dokie Williams. I thought Jerry Porter emerged to be a great third wideout. Really did. Rocket Ismail, absolutely. Rocket Ismail's agent was my stepbrother-in-law, Ralph Grant. Yeah. The late, great Ralph Grant. All right, folks, I'm going to wind down. And I'm going to say, turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Turn out the lights. The party's over. Until we meet again, my friend. All right, good night, everybody. Good night. Watch horror films. Keep America strong. Oh, and by the way, check out oaklandnewsnow.com for my Comic-Con coverage. Got some great stories up there. Yeah. More coming. I hope I feel better too, John. Good night, everybody. Yeah. Good night. See you guys. Thanks a lot. See ya.